Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. I want to send out congratulations to the Muslim Ummah, to all the brothers and sisters on this holy month of Ramadan. And today, inshallah, was your third fast. Inshallah, it's going well. You're not feeling the hunger or the thirst. And while you guys are fasting, thank you for joining us here in our homes. But inshallah, as soon as the lockdown is over, we'll be back in Imam Hussein TV studios in London. I'm your host, Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Alima. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you this evening?
Alhamdulillah, bikhair.
MashaAllah. Sheikhna, during the Ramadan season, we have dedicated each day to different topics, and we have dedicated it to different topics in regards to Ramadan and fasting and the Islamic duties upon us, compelled upon us during this month of Ramadan. We discussed intention, we discussed moon sighting, we discussed things that invalidate the fast, and we were discussing about your head being immersed in water. And yesterday we discussed that, it doesn't even matter if the water's up to your body, that's okay. But if it's the head, if your whole head is submerged into water, submerged, then your fast breaks. Depending on your marja, some maraja, allow it, that it doesn't invalidate the fast. Some say, no, it does invalidate the fast. So for those maraja, Sheikhna, actually let's say all the maraja, what would they say if someone unintentionally fell into some water? So maybe they're in the garden and they have a swimming pool, or maybe they're walking by the river or something. They fell into the river and the head fully got submerged into the water. This person, is their fast invalidated?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. As mentioned yesterday, that the one who immerses his head inside the water, entire head, of course, not partial, entire head, his fast will be void and batil according to some of the maraja. However, if somebody unintentionally he falls, or his head was immersed inside the water, or he forgot that he is fasting and he immersed his head inside the water, in the case of accidental, unintentional, or being forgotten about this issue, that he is fasting, then the fast will be valid and will be sahih and will not be invalidated.
Oh wow, mashallah. Fantastic news. Sheikh, another thing that invalidates the fast, and we discussed this a little bit yesterday, was having marital relations with your wife, and also masturbating and ejaculation. One thing that we know, one of the duties, or one of the hal that you have to be in when you want to fast is tahir. Now, if one is in the state of junub, let's say this person, this male, has had a wet dream, so he's junub, he's not tahir anymore. He has to perform ghusl in order to become tahir, and then he can, do the wajibat, salah, and also fasting. If someone becomes junub during the night, and he forgets to perform the ghusl, and now it's Ramadan, and he remembered maybe later on during his fast, so he woke up, he was in junub, he forgot to do ghusl. Now the Fajr Adhan has gone, so he probably had some suhoor, kept the fast. Fajr Adhan is gone now, or maybe even it's been 2 or 3 days gone, and it didn't click to him that, oh, I didn't perform ghusl or janaba. According to His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sadiq Rouhani, what does he say that this individual must do?
He would mention that the fast will be void and batil, and the one should basically make it up later as qada after the holy month of Ramadan. So in this state, the one was actually fasting with the state of janaba, in which this is not what makes the sawm sahih and valid. So the one should redo the siyam of that day or days after the holy month of Ramadan as qada.
I see. Shana, what if this person, he became junub during the night? So let's say he fasted, he's opened his fast, everything is fine, and he has marital relations with his wife in at nighttime. Now, obviously, he'll be a bit tired. If he goes to sleep and he knows that he'll wake up before Fajr, can he go to sleep, or does he have to do ghusl and go to sleep? And what if he goes to sleep and he says, I'm not going to get up until Fajr time? Does he have to perform the ghusl when he wakes up or before he goes to sleep?
Well, in this case, it is mandatory and wajib for this individual to perform the ghusl before he sleeps or she sleeps. They have to do the ghusl before they sleep, and if they sleep and they do not wake up, because they know the condition, they know they're in a state that, if we sleep, that's it. We're not going to wake up. 2 hours to the Fajr time left, we're not going to wake up. So if they sleep and they don't wake up for the ghusl before the Fajr, and the Fajr goes on, and they are still in Janaba, and they wake up, let's say, after the Fajr, then their fast is invalid and becomes batil, and thus they have to do qada of that day. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be there's a kafara as well for not allowing themselves to be in purity and tahara before they sleep.
I see. So I think it's very, very important that people understand that even if you miss your suhoor, or you don't wake up in time to have your suhoor, that if you had the intention, you can still continue to fast. And if there's a very, very short time, you can get up and you can pray your Fajr Salah and keep your fast. There's not a problem with it. But you need to be in a state of tahara for that to happen. And I think that's what's been the contributing factor here with this fatwa, is that you have to be in tahara. If you're not in tahara and you wake up during the Fajr time, technically you've entered the fast in a state of in a state of junub, or in a state of being najis, and therefore it is not valid. Ahsan Sheikhna, ahsan, excellent. Sheikhna, what if someone was tahir, went to sleep and woke up junub after the Fajr Adhan? Is this person, this is fast invalid? Maybe there's a lot of brothers asking as well that I've kept a fast, I woke up for suhoor, I prayed my Fajr, I went to sleep, and I woke up in the morning and I was in a state of junub. Is my fast valid or not?
Yes, his fast will be valid, will be sahih, correct, even if that state, or the how can we say, the dream or the ihtilam took place before the adhan. So because he wasn't awake in that time, and he slept while he was pure and tahir, but that thing happened, and janab happened during the sleeping time. And he woke up after the Fajr, or in the Fajr time, or after the Fajr time. No, the sawm or the fasting will be valid and correct. It's just that he has to go and do the ghusl of janaba and pray for Salat al-Fajr. If not Fajr, then Salat al-Dhuhr and Asr, to be ready as being pure, of course, for the Salah.
Ahsan. Just a quick reminder to all our viewers that this is a live show, and we do take in your questions. If you have a question you'd like to ask, you can give it on the WhatsApp number or on the email address. It should be over there, right there. Also, we are taking your live questions via phone call. This Ramadan, we have decided that if you have a question that you'd like to ask us, you can actually call in. The number should be over there, 0203 515 0199. And you can ask any question you'd like, and me and the Sheikh will do our best to answer your questions. No question is too silly or too strange or too taboo for us. Right now, we're talking about being in the state of junub. Yesterday, we were talking about masturbation and so forth. We don't need to know your name or where you're calling from or anything like that. Just come in, tell us your question, and me and the Sheikh will do our best to answer all of your questions. Sheikh, now, if one is fasting and made the intention of breaking his fast, but did not break it, because we discussed this a little bit yesterday as well, that having the right
Yes.
intention, and if you lose that intention or you intend to break your fast, so let's say I'm fasting right now, and I was like, oh, I wanna break my fast. I wanna open my fast. Luckily enough, I've got a sweet here as well. Look. So let's say I've got the intention now to eat this, and then I say, no. Actually, no. I've been fasting. I've been working really hard. I'm not gonna eat this at all. According to His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Ishaq al-Fiyad, what does he say that changing this intention, does it invalidate the fast or not?
Yes, His Eminence mentions that his fast will be void and batil if he made the intention of breaking his fast. So just the intention of breaking your fast, you make this intention and you are willing to, you're gonna basically break it, khalas.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you
Change your mind.
repent to Allah Azza wa Jal, you regret, but it's too late. You have to basically make it up later. This siyam of this day is now batil. And of course, the one who is making this intention, as the Samahat al-Fayad says, that while knowing that this act will break his fast, he knows that. He's not jahil, he's not ignorant with this mas'ala. He knows that if he makes this intention, his fast will be invalidated. So, of course, the one who makes such intention, the fast will be batil, because you're actually breaking your niyyah in the middle, because you made the niyyah before the fajr that I'm fasting, refraining from the invalidators of fast, muftarat, from the dawn, fajr till maghrib, dusk. So any kind of breaching this niyyah in your mind, it will actually invalidate the fast. So you have to make sure you avoid such intentions.
Excellent. Sheikhna, vomiting and throwing up, technically nothing's going in, is actually coming out the other way. So does this invalidate the fast?
Yes, one of the invalidates of fast or mutalat of the siyam is to actually deliberately vomit, even if it was for a good reason. Let's say somebody ate too much heavy meal in the suhoor time. Now they wake up in the morning, they feel very bad and uncomfortable, so they try to bring out the food outside.
Yes.
So even for the illness, you had to actually vomit, because it's like deliberate kind of vomiting. It will actually void the fast, and of course there's no kafara for it, because you are in a situation that you are actually in a situation unintentional. Of course, for the unintentional vomiting, the one who vomits unintentionally without intention, that should be fine. So intentional, deliberate, yes, the siyam will be void, but unintentional, it won't actually break the fast. Yeah.
I see. Excellent. No, I mean, it is difficult. I know some family members of mine who, because the fatur and the surah are so close together, they sometimes it's too much food for them, and they've thrown up in their sleep, but obviously it was unintentional. They didn't mean to do it. It's just circumstances and the way that the day is at the moment, that the daylight is so long, the fasting hours are very, very long, so they know that they have to eat a certain amount and drink a certain amount to last them the whole day. But at the same time, because it's such a close gap, it can get very, very difficult. And we asked, the viewers, especially, to be careful, to, monitor their diet and their nutrition, make sure that they eat the correct foods, and try not to overeat. And inshallah, you'll be okay and you'll be able to manage your fast correctly. Shaykhna, we had an email coming from an individual saying, Assalamu alaikum, really enjoying the show. Just wanted to ask that according to Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, if a girl who has reached the age of bulugh and finds it difficult to fast, is she allowed to break her fast? So I'm assuming this is a young girl, maybe she's 10, 11, 12 years old. The hours sometimes are really, really difficult. Whether, like you said, in Norway, 20-hour fast. I remember a couple of years ago, 22-hour fast in some parts of Europe. So for a young girl who's 10, 11, 12 years old, can be very difficult. Are they allowed to break their fast according to Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani Hafidhullah?
Yes, the Sayyid mentions that if she can't fast, then she doesn't need to fast. It's not wajib on her to fast, let's say this month for Ramadan, because especially the hours are very long in some countries, 19 hours of fast time, the daytime. So no, she doesn't need to fast, but she needs to basically do the qada and make it up later.
Okay.
And of course, this is some kind of deliberate breaking the fast, but because she can't make it, she can't continue fasting for the whole day, so there's no kafara for it, just the qada. But the Sayyid mentions that if she can bear the difficulty, sometimes fasting for a 11 years old girl is difficult. She faces difficulty in terms of continuous feeling hunger and thirst.
Yeah.
But that should be fine if it's just a difficulty. She has to fast. But if it's a severe difficulty, unbearable, the Sayyid mentions unbearable, then of course, then she can break the fast.
Okay, so this is Sayyid Sistani or
exactly. Sistani.
Okay. So she should fast until she can't. It's very, very difficult, extremely difficult. Then she's allowed to break it and she can do the qada.
Exactly.
Ahsan. Sheikhna, my final question for this evening. Again, with His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, a pregnant woman who's expecting a child and can't fast due to the harm either on her or on the child, is she allowed to break her fast? So a pregnant lady, fasting may harm the child or harm herself. Is she allowed to break her fast? According to Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani, Hafidhullah.
Yes, the Sayyid mentions that if she feels harm on herself or the baby, so there's a fear of harm on one of the sides, then it is permissible for her to basically break her fast. And usually the hukum, when you ask the ulama for the pregnant woman, they would give they're more lenient, and the hukum is ease in terms of the breaking the fast with regards to the pregnant woman in overall. But even the Sayyid mentions that it could become even obligatory on her, to basically break the fast. When there's a severe harm, for example, she must break the fast and make it up later afterwards. So yes, the ahkam is more lenient with regards to the woman who is pregnant or who's breastfeeding, for example, to ease the situation on her and on her child as well.
Ahsan, thank you so much, Sheikhna. Thank you for your time and your efforts. And thank you to all the viewers for joining us, inshallah, in the coming days, because we're having Ahkam SOS every day in the month of Ramadan at 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV. Inshallah, in the coming days, you can join us and you can even call in 0203-515-0199. If you'd like to call in with a question, we don't need to know your name or anything, or where you're calling from. You can just give your question, inshallah, me and the Sheikh will do our best to answer them. That is all for today, and inshallah we'll be seeing you tomorrow again at 6:30. Sheikh, any final words you'd like to say to the viewers? It's been the third fast of Ramadan, alhamdulillah. Any advice you have for them, or any specific dua you'd like them to recite?
The best thing is to refer back to the sermon of the Prophet ﷺ on the fourth coming of the month of Ramadan. I've mentioned part of it on the first day of the program. It's a very informative, admonishing, and advisable sermon. Just I mentioned a small part of it. It mentions that every breath in this holy month is tasbih, and fast tasbih. When nawm ibadah as well. So even sleeping, the nap that you take is ibadah, is counted as ibadah. So we are now living in a precious time every single minute is counted. So let us take the opportunity and make the best use of this holy month, inshallah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sheikhna. Thank you to everyone. Inshallah, we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 here on Imam Hussein TV3. I've been Muslim Shah. That's been Sheikh Ali Marsh, and this has been Ahkam SOS. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.